Swole Funk DJ. DJ Flame is the DJ name. Like I was saying once again, the attacks are real. Yes, they are. And the magistrates down at the 11th Judicial Circuit Court got me messed up. Yes, sir, they got me messed up. Yeah, they got me messed up. They got me messed up, player. So, yeah. Yeah, seriously. Seriously. That investigation I be talking about, being that my roots are, my beginning is when Malcolm X ended. Malcolm X ending was Nation of Islam, right? I was born in the Nation of Islam. Only a few years after Malcolm X was assassinated. Malcolm X was assassinated in the 60s. Malik Haj El Shabazz, something like that. Malcolm X. I was born in 73. I was like the baby Jesus. People like me, we like Emmanuel. The wise men watch the stars for people like us. Because they want to know 1973, what type of person will this baby boy be? Father F.O.I, mother M.G.T. At this point, my family is being, 1973, diametrically opposed by the establishment, the corporate ward nation state known as U.S. of America, especially. For the first part of my life, they thought they might even have an agent whom they could use to their ends. So these different agencies that function on divino policy, these 501c3s, and you had the prison of war camps that we call school. You had the U.S. military complex. You had the Fraternal Order of the Police. With my behavior, my demeanor, and I'm like a straight A student for a good part of my childhood, they thought they might have a sellout on their hand. Maybe one of the talented 10th is on his way. One of the black boulets is on his way. I was an A+ student for a long time. Yeah, well behaved, well spoken. I could write, I could spell it all, I could punctuate it correctly. The teacher in any given class would flip a word on us that is not in many of our working or written vocabulary, writing vocabulary, and I would spell it right there on the spot when I'm taking notes in class. And things like that. And in this age is where I also got firsthand a lot of information from people who were born in the 1800s and early 1900s. My grandfather, Harold Mackey, was born in 1915. His son, James Mackey, James Leon Mackey was born in 1936. But you had people older than Harold Mackey and my grandmother Gertrude Pratt Mackey. You had people older than that. And these are the people who you would hear talk about how much could you get for a penny when they was growing up, for a nickel, a dime. You know, I learned so much back then. People who had lived through the Great Depression of the 20s, the Great Depression, that produced a lot of spendthrifts or frugal people, I would say, who knew how to stretch a dollar, who knew how to be resourceful. And so these are the type of the people that helped me to become very sharp, especially with what society was attempting to do to the people and actually successfully did to too many people. They shaped the thinking. They manipulated the people. And I saw so many victims of this shaping and this manipulating, this social engineering. I saw so many victims, young and old, right? And like I mentioned in part 1 of the attacks are real, S.O.S, send help A.S.A.P. Where, for instance, case number 00426A, if I'm not mistaken, there were a lot of people around me that knew way more about what would end up being written in the records in minutes, typed into the records in minutes, for case number 00426A and all related cases, any superseding indictments and cases, statements, and filings. I didn't know this. All I knew was word on the street, word in jail. You know, JD, John Doe. Every now and then you might hear somebody lynch mob. Now, lynch mob go back further than John Doe. That's why I know they got me fucked up back. Because see, lynch mob, I was born they ace in the hole. Before all this stuff went sour, the way everything was set up, me being Creek, Muskogee, Gitche Gullah, slash dash, what they call Arawak, Taino and all that, because of the Bahamian strain of my paternal grandparents. That's a Bahamian line. So many people in that case, 00426A, that's blood. That's family. And the Quran talks about how blood ties take precedence even over the Ummah, the Mu'min. If you know, you know. If you're in the Ummah, if you're a Mu'min, then you know. Mujahideen, you know. You know, Bilalian Nation / dash American Muslim Mission, spearheaded by, first of all, Allah and his prophet Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? To whom we give credit for the holy month of Ramadan, the Hajj, pilgrimage, Umrah, and all these type of things that we do, following Quran and Sunnah. That one person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is accredited to saying that was the example for humankind. This flesh and blood, this arm, leg, arm, and head. A-L-L-A-H. Allah. The party of Allah. Was it Hezbollah? Is it Hezbollah? Yeah, versus Hezbollah Shaitan. Yeah, so anybody that is knowledgeable, that has studied, that has listened and paid attention, and know that now, I think it's past 11:55 for those final call readers out there, those Muhammad Speaks readers out there. I think it's past 11:55. I don't know how far past we are. Minister Jabril and all of them, I'm talking about 11:55. We know how this devil, this arch deceiver, the white devil, the black devil, especially the black devil that knows. See, so you got some people just a devil because they just devilish. And you got some people that know full well they are devils. They have enough information in their minds to be an adept in the Moorish Science Temple of America. They know full well that they are the devil, the black devil, that you can't see, the infiltrator of the Moorish nation, Moorish Science Temple, that was set up by Noble Drew Ali, the great sellout, the mutinous turncoat, backstabber of his people, of his estate, for a pittance, for small pittance. He would work hand in hand, toe to toe, shoulder to shoulder with our enemy, our sworn enemy. Those dirty Moors, no matter what skin color, from the Eastern Hemisphere, who have been coming over here under this one itinerary, especially, most definitely, since around 1492. Late 1400s, early 1500s. We're talking 500-something years. When the Pope of that time issued those bulls, all the way up until now. The current Pope and Pope Francis, who just went out the office. And I spoke about the motu proprio briefly, where Pope Francis admits that the corporate war nation states, people like Burkina Faso and all of them had to stand up to, right? Who Muammar Gaddafi stood up to, Saddam Hussein stood up to, Osama bin Laden and people like that. They had to stand up and say, look, we're going to do this way back in the 90s and 2000, the turn of the millennium, the new millennium, Y2K. In the 90s and the 80s, they've been beating their chests and beating the war drums, saying we are going to the gold standard. We are going to have real money, not fiat. We're not going to bow down and be play toys and slaves and whatnot for the International Monetary Fund. And since the society was saying the American dollar was the strongest dollar, then that's the Federal Reserve Bank. And where has capitalism, socialism, and even communism, where has that gotten us in the world? Where the dollar is almost worthless right now. The T-bonds and all that, that was based on us. Here, in the North Gate, especially, in the North Gate, what you call North America, what we call this wilderness, we call North America. If you're a nation Muslim, this wilderness we call North America. Where the lost found tribe of Shabazz was stumbled upon by Master Fard Muhammad, who saw us in the stage when we still had a lot of slums and whatnot. Some of the government projects probably hadn't even been built yet, but we definitely had slums. So those of us who were not knowledgeable of who we were and who we are, he saw us in a condition he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe these Moors, these sovereigns over here with superior jurisdiction and autonomy had been brought down to the level that we were brought down. And I'll see the Duke of Tears talk about how in Grand St. Tariq Bay and Chief Pontiac talk about how in all actuality, the so-called African American is actually descendants through genetics and blood from the leaders on the globe. Yes, sir. Our Sister Dogatia recently pointed out to me how Jean-Jacques Deslignes was in his time the emperor of the world. He was over the Continental Congress in all actuality. So Henry Christophe and all the others that worked against them, against Jean-Jacques Deslignes, Dutty Bookman, Fatima, and all them that fought, Grand Toya, Sinite Blaise, Belair, Sinite Belair, and all them that fought, Le Matrinier, Jean-Marie, all them that fought to keep that island the way it was prior to the French and Spain coming to colonize what became Dominican Republic and Haiti. And we all know, if you know anything about even the history they would admit in school, in the prison of war camps, that IAT played a major role in what happened in the land of flowers, which is called Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and all that. IAT, the ICNs. And at that point, prior to colonization, that's Dominican Republic as well. That's the whole island. They sent support over here to fight the invasions and incursions that came to take this by force. Right? And by the same note, you had those that also lovingly, benevolently cared for those people that came over here. Nursed them to health if they were sick, taught them how to get around, how to navigate the land, the waterways. Once they got off the sea, you still got rivers and lakes and streams and all that kind of stuff. Show them everything they need to know. What to eat, what was poisons, all that stuff. Now, by the time the year 1996 had come, the venal policy had been put down on me that gave me a wrongful conviction in a Kangaroo court, a railroad. While that trial had not begun, Attorney Nasheed Sabir and myself, we filed for an Arthur hearing for me to get a bond. When that hearing came, not the magistrate that was going to hear the case, but for some reason, the magistrate Leslie B. Rothenberg, that courtroom is where that courtroom player held what supposedly was my Arthur hearing. They violated 3.180J, my right to face my accuser and face the court. When they're talking about me in court, records and minutes, sworn in. And not only that, Officer William behind Metro-Dade went into the lobby area and caught the family of Maurice and Marguerite, Maurice Young, I think, Marguerite Shadron and all them, and told them, don't come into the courtroom. He went back inside. He must have told the corrections. I might have been coming from Joe Johnson Boulevard, Stockade. He must have told corrections to lose my jacket, because I didn't make it in the courtroom either. Attorney Nasheed Sabir, my private attorney, who's really an immigration attorney at the time, he's not even a criminal defense lawyer. He walks into the building and sees, by now he knows the witnesses and the victims. Marguerite Shadron and Maurice Young and all them. And their parents and stuff over there. He said, well, y'all coming to the trial? It's about to start. They said, well, Officer Hine told us not to come inside. And Nasheed Sabir with his green behind self, he went on inside and didn't tell the magistrate courtroom player, Leslie B. Rothenberg, what he had just heard them say. And they conducted an author hearing without neither the victims, witnesses, nor I, the defendant, in the courtroom. Now, knowing now that I was not in there anyway, it was my capitis diminutus maximus, all caps, and everything attached to that. And now ex-rel, I know of that, but that is not me. I am a living soul. I'm autochthonous indigenous to this landmass that you are on conducting piracy. And that was a kangaroo court, that was a railroad. And that hearing was for me to get a bond. They were not in the courtroom, the victims and the witnesses, to tell the magistrate that, hey, I don't know why you got him on armed robbery, because the person that robbed us didn't have a gun. And by the way, if that's supposed to be him, I'm sorry to tell you, you got to go back out there and look for him, because that's not him. The original description of the assailant was 6 feet, 250 pounds. I'd never been that big in my life. I'm about big as I ever been. I'm about 210 right now. Close to that. You take this little fat off my side, I wouldn't be that much. Because at that time, I ain't had no fat. It's all muscle, baby. Yeah. I started that in Rice Street, Fulton County. Got with Chicago, got with ATL. And ever since then, when I go to jail, that's what I do. Show you how to do things without the weights. Calisthenics and whatnot. Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I had been doing. I still was 6 feet tall, 250 pounds. Rothenberg knew it. The judge who oversaw the case, the trial, when eventually we went to trial, they knew it. Because the victims and the witnesses in the court refused to lie and say, yeah, that's him. They wouldn't do it. That was my first felony, wrongful conviction. They had to take the armed off of and put simple robbery. Though sometimes when the police pull me over and go in their database, sometimes they'll say armed robbery. They playing a lot of games. And I don't have time to sit here from my head and say everything they did to doctor this thing up, and everything they did to cheat it and smear my name with libelous statements and whatnot. Falsehoods. Lies. Lies on top of lies. So when the trial came, we had a jury. Most of them didn't even speak English as a first language. You could tell they were struggling with English. But me not thinking that they would be that stupid to sit there in the courtroom and see the only people in the courtroom, other than myself, who knew what happened that day, May the 18th, 1994, on my birthday. My 21st birthday. The day I'm now definitely can go get gun license. I can open a bar or a strip club like Luke. And my partner, it had Queen City in Atlanta, where I just came from Atlanta. And I was still working with them boys. They had just killed Derek DeAnthony Brown in Decatur, Georgia, right by Atlanta. That's the group I was working with, Queen City, the strip club. I could run a club and partner with Luther Campbell and people like that and push my music like that. But since they connected with Epstein, see, other industry big heads, I can't think of their name right now. I'll pause it so long. I'm trying to say some name. I don't want to say the wrong name. And Sean Puffy Combs, who was on the heels of every move I made ever since I made the move. He ain't the only one, but he the big fish in the pond. Brother Love, Puff Daddy, just like Master P. In 1991, when that tape left Slimzo's hand of me and Slimzo rapping, claim to fame. Eastwick motherfucker, the crunk song, one of the first gangster crunk songs out the South. Not 135 beats per minute, gangster. Way before T.I. coined the term trap music. That's what our music is. He coined the term, but he talking about what already is. The hard boy, ATL Hardheads ain't out yet. Goody Mob ain't put nothing out yet. Okay? On the Rico Wade with LaFace and all whatever, all they did behind the scenes, all that politics they go when you sign that record company, that contract and all that, you drop that 1 to the 2 to 3, ain't none of that. Ain't no Southern playlistic cat like me. One time for the Dungeon family, baby. All love, oh nigga, you know I love you. You don't know about nothing, you know nothing, nigga. I love you, nigga. Every last one of y'all, T-Mo, Cool Breed, every last one of you niggas. Preacher Son, CeeLo Green, I love you, niggas. Ain't no hate. We just talking about the timeline to show how them big wigs that's dealing with the convict lease system, where they came and stuck their nose in this so-called hip-hop in the first place to redirect it straight to hell, to get into the minds of the youth. And when they say Busta Rhymes stepped to them, gave them Behold a Pale Horse and some more books, like, man, make sure you feed the people. You know, something like, I'm paraphrasing, and they say it took root. Them seeds didn't fall in stony place, it took root. And it seasoned that first album and everything they did since then. Come and get your soul food. None of that was out. So me and Slimzo, they ain't never got gaffing like that. You know, thanks to JD's gaffing, Ice Cube, done left NWA. Ice Cube going slap ass off shawty. Ice Cube snapping, he left NWA. It ain't just that no Vaseline. Every song he put out, you know, tell him was in the vault. Cube going off. America's most wanted, man, that nigga going off. In the schoolyard bathroom, yeah. There's blood, sweat, and tears in years, player. I cried tears in 4 seasons over there by Grandpa Billy, man. It's my life. And everything in the upheaval. I refuse, boy. You know, all this stuff going on. Isaac hit. They just knocked Isaac hit off in 87. Me and Kid Nice. Up on the Tuco. All that job we going through over there on that end by Kangaroo. That job messed me up bad. As far as my schedule. What I had going on. And here comes Slim's Old West. I done graduated from high school. I'm late. I'm behind time. Big Daddy Kane, something under 21 untouched by anyone. I'm late. I'm late. Your mom's in my business. I'm late. All that going by. Now, 1991, Slim Zo come to me on the east side of that strip that lead down in Eastwick. So I'm a little higher than him because I'm on the west side. So it's a hill. So I'm on the high hill. He on the low end of the hill on the sidewalk. He had, man, you rap? They ain't never got for like that already written. I said, yeah. Like, man, we gonna do something, man. He came through with some beat machine, 808 TR, 808 did like the MPC, boom, boom, boom. Keyboard and all that, right? Samples and shit. And I think Mac had some equipment in the house too, some turntables and all that. So we did something. He told me to write too. That's how we got claim to fame. That's a duo. And the crunk song, Eastwick, motherfucker. Eastwick, motherfucker. We used to say that in the hallway. They did. They used to say that in the hallway, Columbia. Eastwick the road thick through there. They were just starting to kind of thin out. The gangster, Eastwick gangster, they were just kind of thinning out, but they were still thick. Then they had partners from the Help, Morning Sun, all that over there. I want to say Lime Street, all that there. All that there. Wilder Street, wherever they came from around Decatur, you know, in Atlanta, who went to Columbia High. Now, this is summertime. We out of school. We done graduated to the next level. I'm going to West Georgia College. It wasn't university, but West Georgia College then. Georgia's best kept secret. And we make that and we put it out. And it was like somebody hit a switch. The world ain't been the same since. I swear for God, and soon Atlanta finna become the mecca of hip hop. Miami ain't too long started How Can I Be Down in South Florida. And it's just on and popping, man. You know, so we talking 91. Ain't no such thing, no Bad Boy Records. Craig Mack got a story about he wasn't messing with no Puffy. To the day, he talked about the day they walked up to him. He says, woo woo, and that led to this and that and third. And that, yeah, now he on the label. Everybody got a story. They got a date. And you talk about me and Slim Zo, our ilk, our clans and tribes, some of our closest. Matter of fact, his first cousin, Scooby. Me and Scooby went to Columbia Elementary. Before I went to Kelly Lake, before I went to Sister Clapham Hunt School. Fuck you mean, man? Yeah. Yeah. You talking about the 70s, man. Don't much tried. So this same background, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Ain't no whole card to pull, ain't no skirt to lift up. Ain't nothing to hide. I'm here to tell it. Stomp them like elephants. Highly intelligent, that's right. Put that Michael Tyler on their head, boy. Yeah. So we put that Maxi single out, 4 songs. Down by Law, Eastwick. Then came Rico Maxwell. When school got back in, around that time. Matter of fact, I think before school started, before fall, before school started. Sure was. Yeah. This the next summer. 92. Now 92. Rico Maxwell coming to picture. So we flirting with like a year now that music been out. It's 92. So me and Rico gonna put out Rico Law. That's just me and him. Cause he Rico and I'm down by law and he down by law. He Eastwick, I'm Eastwick. We over there by Eastwick, up the street from the Mike Murphy chapter of Baby Law. As far as right down the street from where Mike Murphy lived. We lay his head where Mammy stay, who helped raise us. Me, G2, and Kid Nice. Randolph White, Gary Evans. That's what they called them back then. A lot of people ain't know about no G2 and no Kid Nice, but they know about Randolph White, Gary Evans. McCallum brothers up the hill from Miami, right? Tony McCallum, black. He done moved over there in Alpine, King Glenn. And a few more names I won't even mention. Rest in peace, Big Pokey. I could say his name, Big Pokey passed away from a motorcycle accident. And you know, we ready to get it on and pop it. I'm seeing Scooby Brown here and there, but me and Scooby, we ain't joined at the hip. He ain't in my back pocket, I ain't in here. But it's all love every time we see each other. Big old smile on their face, green eye twinkling, the sun twinkling off their green eye. And yeah, oh, you straight? You straight? All right, yo, I'm all right. And that's how that goes. I leave because that music got the Cal County police done lost their minds. And soon I see signs that the Fed might be creeping in. It ain't too long, our Review Board kind of done got into some things with the law and some other big names that, God bless the dead, Slick Larry and Slick Darryl and some more people, DeAndre Stevens, they were talking about. So I know it's pretty hot. And they mad at me because of the music. Because in our music, what we put out in 91, I'm shooting at the police, tell them I ain't rotting the cane. It's me, not Kane. Got the real shit for you. Straight from Georgia to take it by for you. I told him straight up like that. Then before Snoop Dogg came out with 187 on Undercover Cop. Like his introduction to his fan base was 187 on Undercover Cop. The soundtrack for Deep Cover. This before the album. Before the album when he was on with Dre and Dogg Pound, before all that. RBX and all that. Later Raid, before all that. I said, okay. All right, I'm gone. I'm on the plane, 747. I touched down Miami and been staying in Florida since then. Outside of that 1 year, I went and tried to work with Explicit Entertainment when they had that voyage to Atlanta. Getting ready for the 96 Olympic, whatever year that was. Y'all on that song. Bending both, bending corners hard. Yeah. Tootie brought the aroma on my polo, yeah. East side, all about the K, yeah. Who got the nerve in Decatur just to search all the red, Slim, slick wheel on the curb? Yeah. So, before that came out, in 93, Hurricane Andrew just came through Miami. Tore South Miami up. Here I come. That was my introduction to Florida. Hurricane Andrew. Hurricane Andrew touched down left, came back again. Play with it. Major damage. And I come. My grandmama's still alive, both of them. A lot of other people still alive. It was mighty quiet for a minute. But people started to conspire. I had their head messed up. That music out there. But the main thing is people teamed up with the 11th Judicial Circuit Court and the local Admiralty law enforcement, pirates, inquisitions, agents of Rome that y'all call police agents. And they conspired, first of all, to kill me. We in 22 Ave territory, 83rd and 22 Ave. And when they came, it was over 15 of them. All of them had their guns out aimed at my head. Because of one lie one police officer told. Not the victim, not the witnesses that were with the victim when the victim got robbed of like a 10-carat gold chain. I think a charm was on it. All this. They snatched me off the street in 1994. Now, this is on the heels of Sweets and I sitting down because Slick Salt Productions, Slick from Slick Salt Productions, told me go to Sweets because he got a lot on his plate. Yeah, go to Sweets. So me and Sweets sitting down, and Sonny got home team. Sonny dealing with home team, whatever other artists he got. And I know not to fuck with Luke Skywalker, Luke Record. Over there with 2 Live and JT Money held hostage over there. The more tricked up ass contracts, all that craziness. So me and Sweets talking about seriously. So you got a 2-pronged fork attacking this thing about breaking off into the underground, most definitely industry. Fuck around with Sweets, Sonny brother. What, Lil Joe record, something like that? Sonny had, I forgot, Sundog had something. I think Lil Joe, Home T ended up with Lil Joe, some job. I mess around, go mainstream. Go, major record deal. They know I got a talent. They see all the artists is already patterned behind me. Anybody who inside who know what's going on, ears to the ground, ear hustling and whatnot. They know who all the artists is patterned behind. Wasn't nobody doing it before then. Spice One and Das Effects was the 2 acts that first beat everybody to that. As far as a sign the record label, press up some records, get out there, Sam Goody and all the Turtle records and all that. Yeah, a video, a soundtrack. Spice One was on the soundtrack. He might have beat Das Effects to a soundtrack. To Trigger Guys No Hearts was on Minister Society. On that soundtrack with Bun B and Pimp C, UGK. Yeah. So anybody look like they might give us a run for the money or could feed the people what we come to feed them, but was signed with them, that's who they favor. If you not signed and you're doing it big like with me and Explicit Entertainment, Sonny and Sweets, oh hell no. DJ Raw, oh hell no. Now DJ Raw, he was gonna sign. But somebody in South Florida blocked him and had him locked up for a long time. They locked Sweets up for a long time. They didn't try to lock me up for a long time. They tried to kill me. Then they tried to lock me up for a long time with the robbery. You can get a while, you can get 20 years. Hell. Your first offense, they got guidelines. They ain't got to give you that jewel because it's your first offense. They say no. You had a gun? Da-da-da-da. I teach you a lesson. 15, 20 years. I came out at 2015. Letter would have been fed. They didn't know what I had on me yet. I could have had a monoscope, a red beam, infrared beam. I could have had all kind of stuff when they got me. They don't know what I got. I could have had a quarter brick, half brick, whole brick, hey. They finna find out. And you know they'd have killed my ass or took my ass to jail and took the dope. Put just enough in there to give me a stiff charge and took the rest, took the money. Sting, jump out, City of Miami Police, Metro Dade, yeah. Because it wasn't quite fed yet, I don't think. But like I said, I did leave from up the road because the I Refuse boys and some other people knock them around here, woo, you know, yeah. Yeah, me and some Down My Law nigga got into it behind some shit. The next year after Isaac Hicks got knocked off. And Isaac Hicks had niggas all run up through that shit. Miami boy, all them Musclehead, all them Dixie Hill boy, all that shit, that was on and popping. And everybody and their mama that knew I was connected to Miami. So now, I come down here and pick up this bogus charge that's still on the record today as that charge. They never corrected that officially. And if they do exonerate me, they gotta pay me for everything I went through. Not just each day and just, no. from the police aiming them guns at me, at my niece's grandparents' house. Scared the shit out of Miss Dorothy Wilson and them. On until all the way to right now. See, all that had come out of a wrongful conviction destroyed my family. Destroyed my family. Me, not so much as my family, my ability to be an uncle, to be a father, to be a good brother, to be a good cousin, to be a good son, a nephew, grandson. I was 21 years old, just off my first year in college. Just had a little time to get my mind right. And I'm an entrepreneur. Heard me just say the home team. Debonair and Drugsy. Pick it up, boom, boom. Pick it up. Had an album hot as fuck in Miami. Debonair just made Dance All Night with JT Money as a Poison Clan from Loot Records. That's still hot. That's still burning up the clubs and on the radio and on the video and all that. On top of that, my full brother, we got the same mom and daddy, got with Gene Jasmine on Wild Pitch Records and dropped Broken English Click. You suck my motherfucking thumb. We was hot as cayenne pepper. If it wasn't for what I did in 2000, from 20 to 2010, that would have been fizzled out. And then you got Explicit Entertainment helping a whole lot coming 95. The follow-up what we did in 91 took them 4 years. If they wouldn't have killed Scooby, it took longer. He say, Q West, Slimzo Jr. say he didn't take it seriously until they murdered Scooby Brown, Derek Anthony Brown. And I was long gone. He was trying to find somebody that the goddamn police, the Cobb County police ain't ran off. Human trafficking, kidnapping. And that was three stove click clack. Buck Johnson, Vice Grip. He went and got Vice Grip. And they made that one song. And he worked the shit out that song for years. We had some y'all don't even know nothing about it up there. We had a Dirty Dozen. A lot of people don't even know who the Dirty Dozen is. Supposed to came right behind it, and it wasn't no Slim Shady, no Eminem sound in the sound, and no Aftermath, and no Death Row Records either. When we had Dirty Dozen, D12 and Slim Shady, all that hadn't happened either. When I had East Unit, wasn't no G Unit. Now, this is big business, big pharma, because every time I go down, or when the police show up, they be pushing that, they'll bake at me, and when I get to Jackson Crisis, New Horizons, something like that, they try to force feed me, sometimes they have, psychotropic drugs. They'll strap you down and shoot you with a horse needle full of psychotropic drugs. They cause all type of side effects and shit. Some of them companies been sued since then. If you have taken and had side effects, they were way back in goddamn 1993, 94. They wasn't admitting it back then, but they tried to force it in my veins and force me to take them pills, or they were gonna strap me down in the back room in New Horizons in Jackson Crisis and stick a needle in my arm. Drug dope pushers, big pharma, big corporation, convict lease system, the penal system, and law enforcement. In meantime, they hold Sean Combs by the hand. And if you don't know, they'll show him. He formed Bad Boy label. He had major backing. Money-wise, that was the type of people who going to Epstein Island, balling, Cuba, and other places in the world, balling, screwing y'all children in the behind, rupturing the hymen on the vagina, forcing them to perform oral sex. And some of them, they harvested for adrenochrome and whatnot. Max Factor, Revlon, they make makeup, lipstick off the foreskin from little boys' penises. This little cabal, this dog priesthood, this the clique I'm talking about. That's why Bad Boy Record can put, you think them niggas the only, you think Lil C, Junior Mafia, Lil Kim and Biggie and Craig Mack and G-Dep and the Locks, Style P and Jada Kid, you think they're the only one can spit? Out of New York at that? Player. Atlanta chapter, Zulu Nation under Soul Messiah had a nigga named Big D from the Bronx, but it took that whole label out. 5-6 bars, killed them. There's plenty of talent out here, plenty of talent. And come to find out, on this trial, with Cassie Ventura, Cassie, whatever last name is, Cassie, and all that, come to find out, all this time, what became Icon Music Group, what we call Lab Production. Gorilla Tech made his debut with Slick Rick and the Dog. I don't know who he produced right probably before that, but he definitely, like, as a talent as well, he wanted the Dog, the Slick Rick and the Dog. So ADE mint green lack, mint green interior, white top, true spokes, Vogue tires. Pulled up at Jamaica Jakari studio. And Gorilla Tech was already gatekeeping in. Then he tried to use some street beef that came up roughly a year later. And ever since then, even though he ain't even involved in that, ever since then, he tried to use that as an excuse to not work with me, Gorilla Tech, from 1993. That's over 30 years. That's like 32 years. This Negro been gatekeeping. That bumped me from 93. I went to Explicit Entertainment. I jumped in 95. I'm 22 years old now. Went up there. Long story short, them niggas tried to kill me. Cause I can rap. I had some bars so hot, it was a song actually. A duo. Me and once again, me and that boy back together, Slim's old Junior, Slim's old West. And that thing hot as cayenne pepper. That thing fire hot. I'm on that bitch snapping. I ain't got shit to do. But you hit a lick or two splitting you with these 52. Yeah, that one. Yeah. 1995, 96. We done hit about 96 now. About 96 now. Cause after we laid that down, DeAndre Steve and people like that, and it was a lot of Eastwick, a lot of Atlanta, a lot of Decatur was off in there with a lot of niggas. That was Stu Studio. White boy Stu. Me and Slim's old put that thing down, boy, them nigga mouth dropped open in that thing, boy. They ain't even celebrate. Yeah, them nigga mouth open like, what in the fuck with these we just witnessed? Yeah. And DeAndre Stephen God bless the dead looking at me nodding his head like they're like, yeah. Yeah, that look that Andre 3000 got to look for Rico Wade to say, okay, now that's a wrap. You ain't got to go back and sit down and rewrite your bar. That look Andre 3000 look for Enrico Wade face. Oh yeah, I think beyond that. And DeAndre Stephen nodding head like hell effing yeah. I ain't got shit to do but hit a lick or two splitting you with these 52. We Alto, shawty. Alto style, shawty. Decatur, shawty. Atlanta, shawty. Bankhead, shawty. Ain't nothing but the real. Right around that time, in Miami, certain slang came out at a certain time. This around the time in Miami niggas start saying, that's the real one. Oh, he the real one. That's the real one. That's the real one. They wasn't saying that. We say true nigga. Real nigga. I'm a real nigga. Oh, that true nigga. That true nigga, boy. The real nigga, yeah. Oh boy, that Haitian don't play. Oh, now they start saying it's the real one. And now I know why that slang came out around that time. Because if you think about it, hardly nobody ever said exact verbatim what I said, 52s. Hardly nobody who made a record that we listen to, LL Cool J, you name Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, I ain't hear nobody say 52s. But we all represent the streets. I walk these streets with my gun in my hand, yeah. I still ain't come across a record yet from 96 on back that said anything about 52. And at that point, Wu-Tang was out there to my chest boxing and all kinds. I ain't heard nobody say no 52. So a lot of people who don't really know the industry, the rap music, hardcore rap like we do, who do it, it'll go over their head. But people who in the game, we know. I could take a phrase that rarely heard flipping, it's a daily word, yeah. No alarm, Rakim remain calm, yeah. We talking about pioneering in so many different ways. And this is why they had to stop that. It was nothing to stop that momentum. We on the heels of Ice Cream Man album. The song Ice Cream Man was on the album Master P, so that's pumping real body, all that. Master P just bust up out of that little region over there, and he done hit the whole country, and he going out to the islands and all out the country and all that. He just bust out that little pocket over there. Richmond, California, all the way back to New Orleans. The murder catters of the world food, watch your back. Son, don't make it back. And niggas ain't tripping off your life, G. A nigga from Arkansas played that for me first. We were both working at Wendy's over there by Panola Road and all that. A nigga from Arkansas played that for me. And I thought Master P was saying bodies. Like human body, dead bodies being picked up here and there. That's what I thought it was saying. Bound food, yeah. Soon as I put that down, niggas start hating. I need my A1 day one. But what's happening, what's gonna take me forever to realize up until the last few years, when they start really putting Puffy out there, and it wasn't right away, it just, I hear Jaguar Wright say something, Gene Deal say something, CC, the other bodyguard, or Orlando Brown, somebody will say something, or about somebody, like Fabulous, Justin Bieber, Usher, Trey Songz. I'm piecing this thing together and looking back through time and seeing, oh, that's what it is. These niggas wanted me to be their DMX. See, when DMX got on, DMX put the world on. The Rough Rider clique was so deep, probably nobody can't even count how many niggas in the Rough Riders. Like Wu-Tang, you probably count Wu-Tang, Killer Bees and all that, before you can count Rough Riders. And that's just the Rough Rider. DMX was down with more than just that. Right? Now, by the door opening for DMX, the door opening for how many people? Look how that works. So they know I'm a day one, I'm loyal, I'm a real one. If I get this jug, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna run back to all the people I know. I need a beat. I need a producer. I need an engineer. I need a cameraman. That's what they looking for. So basically, it's some pimping going on. And of all people, these FNs, PANs, trying to pimp Shawty Red. Red Dawn. Omerta. Really? After all that real time life experience y'all had in my midst, in the midst of a gorilla, you think they say 100 niggas shouldn't try a one gorilla. You actually think I'm finna walk in Uptown Records, drop to my knees, and spread Andre Herrera knees, zip his trousers down, pull his schlong out his boxers, and serve as him?